Hey, ready, Coach.
Before we start talking basketball, want to send my condolences and my prayers with the family of Stephen Lipscomb, a minor that tragically lost his life in an accident earlier this week. We had a chance to take our guys to a coal mine in the fall and got a chance to meet a lot of those guys and spend time with a lot of those people and hear their stories and share stories, and heard that news, saw it, and then we talked about it before the game. And so just again, my thoughts and prayers are with him, his family, his wife, kids, and that's what makes this place special. We're very fortunate, and there's a lot of people that do a lot of things to make our lives better. So just wanted to send my thoughts and prayers with them and let everybody know how much we appreciate all those guys that do that line of work. As far as the basketball game went, felt like we just did a really good job of executing what we asked our guys to do. And Pitt had came into the game making more free throws than their opponents have even attempted, so we knew keeping them off the foul line was going to be big, and they were plus 13 in the rebounding margin. So we really challenged our guys to try to defend without fouling and clean up the defensive rebounding. And we've talked about that in this room before. A lot of that is a byproduct of keeping the ball in front of you and keeping it out of the paint. And felt like we really defended well all night long. They made some really tough shots to start the game. I thought we had good looks on offense that just didn't go down early. And then felt like, DJ Thomas, just freshman to step into that environment. And I don't think he called bank, but like I said, it was an early tip, so maybe the banks were still open. I don't know, but he really settled in, made some good plays, and him and Amir both, man. We have a very mature team, but for freshmen, again, those are as poised and mature freshmen as you can come across. So was really pleased with that. Also had challenged our team because we've been in this situation. We've been fortunate. We've been in this situation pretty much every game we've played, dating back to our closed-door scrimmages. We've had a couple possession lead in the second half coming into it. We didn't start halves great, but I thought we started that half really well and extended that run. They made an answer. We settled in and finished the game the right way.
Questions, please.
So, Coach, you've seen this rivalry from other sports. Now being in the middle of it, what was it like? And do you almost have to ramp back a little bit rather than, feeding too much into it?
Yeah, and again, I thought the maturity of our team was kind of on full display because we didn't, and we talked about it. We never shied away internally or externally what this game meant to the state, the people of West Virginia, and how passionate it is to this fan base. And so we talked about it. We knew it. We didn't run away from it. We didn't hide from it. We didn't try to next game it. But at the same time, we knew when the ball tipped, we were going to have to go out there and execute and play within ourselves. And to only turn the ball over 6 times in that environment, and a lot of times, the first time you play in a home environment like that, it can shock you a little bit, even as the home team. It can break you down in a weird way. But I thought we really settled in, and then what makes this building special is we got on a little run, and it ended up being like a 31-4 run, I believe, and crowd got behind us, and it was fun to be a part of.
Pitt was doing well rebounding-wise coming to this game, but Harlan obviously took over in the paint. Did you think you had a roster, especially with him, that would kind of maybe catch them off guard and be their kryptonite in terms of what they were doing so far this year? Because it looked like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say catch them off guard. Again, I've known Coach Capel for a long time. He's a good coach. I think when our team is balanced. And so you are going to kind of have to make some choices at times. Are you going to play our forwards single coverage, or are you going to double team them? And I think Harlan and Belo both have the ability. If you just play them one-on-one, they can make good things happen. And he really anchored us. We got the ball down there, and I'm just, again, tonight for him, I think was a fruition of the summer. And Coach Martinez our strength coach needs so much credit, man. Him and Harlan have a unique bond, and they really bonded on the changes that Harlan made to his body and the work that he put in. And to play 30 minutes in this environment at that intensity level, there's no way that he can do that, and that was part of what we challenged him. So it was he was really good tonight.
What did you like about Harlan down low? And I mean, he was almost automatic.
Yeah, he got really deep position, and he's a large man amongst large men, and he's talked about he has great feet, and he has great balance, and he has great hands, which is a really good combination that he can get his position, not get off balance, and once he gets his hands on it, he can get it to his chin, and he finishes it.
How important was it? This was the first game where he didn't really get in foul trouble. I don't think he even got one until late in the second.
Yeah, I mean that's in particular without Chance and Jackson. We really stress that we need all those guys to be really smart and really physical without fouling, and it's something that we've shown that we had done in spurts, but we were pretty consistent tonight. And the harder you play, the more physical you play, the less you foul. If you're reactionary and you're late, that's typically when you get in bad positions and you have to foul.
Coach, obviously the 3 technical fouls in the second half, kind of tell a story of just frustration for them. But it seemed like, to me anyway, they were kind of losing their composure, like maybe throughout the second half as your run started to kind of grow. Did you sense that at all?
Other than the whistle and having an idea of, when you get the whistle at that time period, you kind of know what's coming. I wasn't paying a ton of attention to that. I was just trying to you're just thinking through so many scenarios at that point in time, not that you're necessarily like playing a clock game, but in your head, you're a little bit, when do you sub? Honor had the 3 fouls. So I was really more kind of focused in on our energy and where our focus was, and that was one of the things we talked about coming into these games. You got to play with emotion, you got to play with passion, but you don't want to be emotional to the point where it's detrimental to your team, and I thought our guys did a great job of that tonight.
And then at the end of the game, after the handshake line, you kind of looked back to the crowd, just let out a scream. Was that just getting some emotion out? What was that moment like?
Yeah, I just wanted to share that with the fans, and like I said, I know how much this means to them. I mean, let's just – we can call spades spades. There's people that have been coming to this game for 30 and 40 years, and it means a lot to me, but it actually means more to them. And so I wanted to share that with them, and I hope I can get to that place where I have that many brawls under my backyard, under my belt. But again, I realize there are people that means probably more to them than even our whole team can comprehend, and how much it means to people. So just wanted to share that moment with everybody.
Does that kind of make it a little bit of a relief for you? Obviously, if you would have lost this game, it wouldn't be the end of the world or end of the season. That's what Coach Capel talked about. But you get this off your back.
Yeah, there's always every game is hard. Every game is hard for different reasons, and we talk about it with our team. The moment you think something is easy, it's not. In life, the moment you think you got it all figured out and you're just going to show up here and you're just going to beat this team, it don't go that way. And so there's always a little bit of relief at the end of those games. Coaching is misery and relief, and there's not much in between. So, I was excited for our fans and our players, and more than anything, I was really excited with the way that we played and the way we executed in that environment for the first time with a group of guys that is still learning and still improving.
Coach, we were talking previously about the things you're trying to do defensively and things you might be willing to give up. Was tonight, the corner 3, if they can make that opposite pass out of it, one of the things that you're saying, hey, if you can beat us doing that and do it enough, how many times you could trap it?
Yeah, there's there were, again, it's kind of like played right, played wrong, and there were times that we were able to squeeze the floor in our ball screen coverages, and then when the pass was made out there, we were still able to get there, and that's what you want to do. You don't want to give them that catch and shoot 3, but there was times where we were able to kind of do both. We were able to really shrink the floor, and then when they did try to skip it over the top, we were able to get deflections and get out some runouts. I don't know what Honor was doing, trying to do a 360. I'm just telling him, dude, slow down. The dude is so fast, man. But to answer your question, we definitely didn't want to get spread out. We wanted to keep the ball out of the paint. Again, we knew they made a living at the foul line. We knew they really hurt people on the offensive glass, and we felt like if keeping them out of the paint can lead to some good things for us.
Coach, talk about that run there at the end of the half. Obviously, you were down 7 with about 6.5 left. You guys go on a 20-4 run to end the first half. Just a response from your guys. How pleased were you with how they responded following dropping down 7?
Yeah, I think like I said, man, we were getting some pretty good looks that just didn't go down during that time period. I didn't think we were playing that bad, and I thought that they made some very difficult. They made like some step back threes in our face and contested jump shots. Those are not easy shots. And I think, going through some of these earlier games, even though not the magnitude of a game like this, you still feel that game pressure, maybe in a weird way, even a little more when you get in those tight games. And we talked about it in here. I think that can benefit you down the long run. And even when they made that run in the second half, there wasn't like a lot of panic in the huddle. We kept executing. And again, I think, DJ making a couple threes in that stretch gives you a collective sigh of relief.
Ross, going off of that, the way you finished the half and the focus you put on starting the second half, is that halftime difficult at all? Because you played so well and you kind of know what's coming because you challenged your team there. I don't know if the challenge is the degree of difficulty to keep that going.
I felt like, again, we have a mature group. They allow us to coach them. They allow us to be very direct with them. And they themselves knew that we hadn't really started halves great. We've been in this situation pretty much every time we've been out so far. And I thought they took it on themselves to really make sure they carried that level of intensity, got some deflections, got some runouts, got an easy basket. Coach Estelle and Coach Forte had a great suggestion there to start the second half, just trying to punch it inside because you're always trying to figure out, like, okay, what can give us a little bit of an advantage. And we certainly, Harlan anchored during that stretch, and we were able to get some deflections and easy baskets.
Coach, Jasper was telling a story about Harlan before the game, talk about, how he was going to eat tonight. And I'm trying to picture this in my head. Is he the big guy yelling and screaming in the locker room, emotional, or is that just something he goes up and tells Jasper?
No, Harlan's, a ball of energy, man. And like, that's the other thing I've tried to talk to him about, like, trying to have a better reserve on his energy dumps, because we need him out there. But he's usually pretty loud and pretty boisterous, and he has a great personality. He's very engaging. He's a fun guy to be around, and he loves playing basketball. He's put unseen amount of hours in to change his body, and what you're seeing again is the fruits of that labor.
So everyone knew he wanted to eat then?
I think he always, you see him, he's a large man, so I'm sure he always wants to eat, both literally and metaphorically. But he's a guy that we definitely like to establish down there, and and especially early on, just to see what people are going to do. Are you going to play him solo? And he really anchored us down there today.
Tonight, it just seemed like every time that the defender that he was guarding he was up in their face. The stat book doesn't really show it, but what can you say about his growth from game 1 to now already this season defensively?
Yeah, he's completely bought in. What you see is a player that's completely bought in to doing the things that we're asking him to do. And, again, another one, man, just to get thrown into this environment. And he got a big bucket in that first half when we were, like, struggling to score. It was like, all right, we had some good looks. Belo had a couple good looks. Jasper had a good look. Honor had a couple of looks. And it was actually your freshman in a weird way that kind of came in and steadied you and got some turnovers and got some deflections. So, he's just both those guys, man, I know I keep saying the same thing over and over, but they really are. They're light years ahead of where typical freshmen are from a maturity standpoint. And they're great listeners. They listen to the coaching staff. They listen to their teammates. And that's what allows them to get better.
Do you pay attention to the atmosphere yourself? Do you hear Sweet Caroline, or are you just so inner focused?
I did. No, I heard it. I was like, man, can we maybe wait 2 more minutes before we play this? But, I'm not going to lie, man. I tried to stay pretty locked into the moment of just trying to execute. But my mind, there were a couple times during my mind that wandered, like during the day or during shoot around. I was like, man, I want to hear country roads in this place with 14,000 people. I want to hear Sweet Caroline with 14,000 people in here, and like I said, man, just really thankful and really appreciative, A, to be in this position, but then C, to have our guys go out there and execute and get a chance to share that moment with your fan base.
Did reality live up to what you were thinking this afternoon?
Yeah, I'm still like, yes, that part did, and I'm still processing it all a little bit. You know, you're in that not to minimize, or there's no comparison, but like the fog of war a little bit. Like you're still in that a little bit coming out of it. So definitely want to just enjoy this one, and then now, like we talked about, like now you can't give it back on Monday. So in a weird way, now that game in a weird way becomes bigger than this game.
So you're in that fog. How do you stay level-headed and keep your team level-headed with another game coming up? Because they haven't done this together, and we've seen teams over the years have a big win like this, and then actually drops them.
Yeah, and again, I think what you hope is, again, the maturity of your team, the fact that so many of these guys, and myself included, have been on both sides of it. But these guys have won big games before, like we talked about. They've been in big games. They've won big games, maybe not as big to everyone else, but to them, or like myself, like we talked about it, man. Like Midland, Odessa, man, when we beat freaking Odessa, man, that was a monster win, And so, mature group, and then we do have bigger goals, and we talked about that. We talked about two things being able to be true at once. Talked about it in the press conference on was that yesterday? And we're doing a lot of these, mess. Have my radio show on, when was that? Tuesday? Dang. Doing a lot of freaking talking, man. But two things could be true at once. It could be a really big game, and regardless of what happened with the outcome of it, no trophies have been handed out. We haven't, won the Big 12. We haven't punched our dance ticket, and if we would have lost this one, the same thing can be true. The same things tomorrow that we need to wake up and get better at. We got to wake up and get better at those, regardless.
Coach, in regards to the assist total, how much of that kind of goes hand in hand with the maturity of this team? You have 13 assists on 24 made baskets. Does the maturity and the assist total kind of go hand in hand in your eyes?
Yeah, I thought, and again, man, I thought everybody had their part in it, but I thought Jasper's steadying influence and just never getting rattled in that environment, never playing faster than he needed to do, and just we made really simple plays all night long. And we had talked about, like, you go in a game like that, it's like going into a fight in a phone booth, and you're not gonna deliver haymakers. You gotta like just little bitty body blows, death by 1,000 paper cuts, and you're just trying to like inch your way out of there, knowing if you try to go in there and there is no knockout blow. And I thought just the execution level over the course of the 40 minutes was really good.
With Bilo in foul trouble, it gives DJ a time to shine. How's that feel, knowing that your freshman could come in and provide a spark?
Yeah, it was again just you see it in practice every day, and you've seen it in glimpses in other games, and so to see him come in that moment, and said, his family's in town, his mom's here, she's an awesome lady, military veteran, and so it was just awesome to have her in town and for him to play well. And that's what the beauty of this team is. It's going to be different people on different nights. It's not always going to be the same guy, and you're getting closer to adding a couple more into the mix. We can take a couple more if you
Coach, talking about maturity of the team, particularly the freshmen, is that something you notice during recruiting, or is that something you kind of have to see once they step into the building, or even just whenever they get on the floor for the first time?
You see a lot of it in recruiting. And we have incredible parents. And there is the old saying, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So you're not only just recruiting players, you're recruiting families. And DJ again played for a great high school coach. Amir's played for really good coaches, and they just have really awesome families. And when you sit down and talk to them, and they're looking at you like you're looking at me right now, and they're like listening to like every word, they're kind of hanging on the words that are coming out of your mouth. Like, it gives you, when you mix that with talent, it gives you like, man, these guys are going to be really good players.
You guys kept them under 50 points. Will we be able to look back at this game when you get later on in the season to show them that this is the type of defensive mentality you guys need to have?
I certainly hope so, man. Like, we have high expectations defensively. We challenge our guys that if we're gonna, if you're gonna win the Big 12 and you're gonna compete in the Big 12, you got to be one of the best defensive teams in the country. And our guys have really bought into that. And I think this is something you can look back on and then also look at the areas where we could get better, and where we did break down. And that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to just keep lengthening the amount of good basketball and shorten the amount of bad basketball.
Ross, how close was Jackson? Was he close?
He's getting close. Yeah, he's getting close. Don't know if he'll quite be ready for Monday, but he's close. He's getting close. He's been a full participant in our practices. The hard part is where we are in the schedule, you just don't get a ton of scrimmage time, but he's getting close, and we want to be protective of him, and we want to make sure he's all the way ready with no sort of impairment in the back of his mind that something, we want him almost over ready, if that makes sense.
Coach, fans are expecting Eagle staff to eventually kind of explode and be the sharpshooter. How do you think he performed in this game? What are you seeing from him that maybe inches us closer to that happening?
I think he's been a great teammate. He's trying really hard defensively. He did make the one big shot, and this is new. This is new for him. Almost maybe as big of a difference from what from a role in a team that he played on. No disrespect to those guys. I'm just saying, in comparison to here, he didn't have an Honor and a Belo and a Harlan and a Jasper. And so he's still processing a lot, and he's still trying to figure out where his spots are going to come. And we just keep encouraging him to be him. And again, the more nights like Belo has on Sunday and the more nights that Harlan has tonight, then maybe people will start okay, well, maybe we can't just stand next to him for an entire game, or we can't just stand next to Honor. Because I don't know if you're paying, if you guys are watching, that's what they do. When those guys are in the corners, they are literally standing next to them in corners, which opens up the game for other people. And now you start having the choice, and his time will come for sure.
Ross, you mentioned Honor's 360. I think maybe, I don't know who it was, someone took a 3 early in the shot clock late you didn't seem happy about, but you mentioned simple plays. There was nothing out of character, even as the lead up with that, but maybe you see some Showtime stuff or some crowd stuff.
Yeah, really mature. And like I said, man, Mo's so bought in that even I'm almost apologizing to him, Mo. I'm like, damn, Mo, I'm sorry, but can you just not fire a 1-pass-3 when we're up 24 with 3 minutes to go? And but I you know what I mean? You almost just, but and those guys are learning me too, and I always tell them, dude, if you're going to shoot it, you better not be having some little voice in the back of your head. You better not have a little Coach Hodge voice in your head saying, don't shoot it. If you're going to shoot it, you better freaking shoot it to make it, or don't shoot it. Which is, again, coaches can send mixed messages. But
All right, good. Thank you.
Thank y'all.